So I'm going to show you the first step in setting up your equipment is actually you need to set up what's called a double boiler. And what you'll need is this is a medium-sized sauce pot, and then you need to find either a metal or a glass bowl that will fit over the top of the bowl but not fall into the bowl. So you need to find, like this one fits nice and tight. It doesn't touch the bottom of the pot. This one would work as well. Now it needs to be metal or glass, no plastic, because we're going to be working directly over heat. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put about a 1 inch of water in the bottom of this pot. And I already had another pot of hot water going. So I'll do that's about 1 inch. And what you want to do is you want to turn that on and bring that up to a boil. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to place our bowl on the top, but the water should not touch the bottom of the bowl, okay? Chocolate is very temperature sensitive, and so we need to make sure that we are not getting it too hot. We want to melt it slowly. So I'm going to go ahead, and also you don't ever want to get water in your chocolate. And what's going to happen is the heat from the steam of the water is going to heat the bowl, which then is going to go ahead and melt our chocolate. So let me swing around here. I'm going to do a couple different flavors of chocolate, but they're all going to start out the same way. So in your bowl, you're going to go ahead and put, you guys got that bag of chocolate chips. You're going to add that, and that's a 1 whole pound. So make sure when you buy the chocolate, if you're going to do it, usually chocolate may only come, some chocolate only comes in 12 ounces, and you need 16. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do a couple of them, so I'm going to go ahead and start. And then in that, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay, and then what you're going to do is just put this right over the heat. Now, if your water starts to boil a little too much and you have a lot of steam coming out, you need to go ahead and turn that water off because we don't want any water to get in our chocolate. It will do what's called seize it, and then it will be too thick and we won't be able to melt it. So I'm going to let this start to melt, and I'll come back and show you what it's going to look like in a little bit. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. This has been sitting on, and I can tell you it's starting to spit. So very carefully, I kind of continue to wipe it. If you need to, you can lift the bowl out. Be careful, you can get a little bit of a steam. Pull it off. I'm gonna wipe the bottom, put it back on. But I did turn my water down. So what I want to show you is inside the pot, and again, I'm using a rubber scraper. And I'm just going to go ahead and start to stir the chocolate up a little bit and get that butter down against the bottom of the pot. And at this point, I'm just going to stir it about every minute and allow it to go ahead and continue to melt. All right, it's been about another 5 minutes, and it's not quite ready, but again, you're kind of turning my water up and down. And I want to show you, I'm basically almost done. I can see the butter. I still have a couple chunks of butter in there, but I'm just going to continue to wipe it and push it in. And what you'll start to see is that you have no more lumps of chocolate chips and no spots of the butter. And we're almost there. Just going to kind of spread it around a little bit more. Now the other thing I've gone ahead, and again the first one I'm doing here is going to be plain fudge. And I've opened up my can of sweetened condensed milk. And so what that's done is it's a dairy that has a lot of sugar. It's gone through kind of the caramelization of converting those sugars so that it's not going to be grainy. Now, if you've ever had fudge before, and maybe it's been really brittle or kind of dry to the taste. By using that sweetened condensed milk, we are avoiding that whole process of it being perhaps coming out too grainy. So there it is. Chocolate is done. I'm going to lift it. I'm going to use 2 towels, and I'm going to instantly wipe the bottom and wipe the sides. And let me get you over here now. Okay, and it's very hot. I'm just going to go. Right, so I'm going to use my towel, and I'm going to just make sure it's all completely smooth, and it is. All right, and I'm going to take now that sweetened condensed milk, and I'm going to add that whole can to the inside, and I'm going to go in with my rubber scraper, and I'm going to make sure I get all of it out. Okay, we want to make sure we get everything in there, even down on the bottom. Take a little taste of it. It's very good, has the kind of a caramel flavor. And now you need to make sure you mix the 2 of these together really well. We want to make sure that that sweetened condensed milk is combined with that chocolate. If you don't mix it in well enough, you're going to get this kind of little white streak through your fudge. So you need to make sure you're mixing and folding. Pull everything off the very bottom of that bowl. Again, using the rubber scraper is the best because you get everything off the bottom. Fold it in, smash it. You'll start to see it's going to starting to get a little thick. Continue until you think it's really mixed, and make sure, again, nothing on the very bottom, so make sure you're getting in the middle. And I have some stuck on my rubber scraper, so make sure that all gets mixed in. All right, so this one's going to be plain, and then we can have some fun with it, and you can do any sort of flavor that you want. All right, so to pan it, I'm just using a square by square pan. If you want to do round, you can do a loaf pan. It does need to be lined, so I have some parchment. You can use wax paper. You can even line it with plastic wrap. If you need to, even line it with foil. You want to be able to lift it out of that pan to cut it. All right, mixing one more time. And then I'm just going to pour the whole thing right into the bottom, and I'm going to scrape everything off and out that I can. Okay, and then you want to spread it. You can start to see it's getting really thick. Spread it out to the edges. The paper's moving just a little bit on me. I'm just doing a little bit at a time. Nice even layer. Push it into the corners. Okay. Okay, right into the corners. And then I'm pushing it down just to make sure there's not any air bubbles. You can also go ahead, let me get it a little quieter, but pound it a little bit. Okay, don't want it moving. And then what you're going to do, you're going to get some plastic wrap. Okay, and you're going to put a piece of plastic wrap directly onto the surface. So lift it and push it down so it's right onto the surface of the chocolate, and you can even then even it out just a little bit. I kind of push it in, back of my hand to smooth it out so it's nice and even. And then this needs to chill for about 6 hours until you can cut it. All right, that's the first one. All right, round 2. This one I'm going to show you how to do some mix-ins in case you want to flavor your fudge. So, same thing. Melted it with the butter. Okay. Put that down. This time I used metal. It's even hotter, so be careful. All right, I'm just going to mix one time just to make sure butter is all melted. You don't see any lumps of chocolate. Okay, this time, let's see. All right, sweetened can of condensed milk going in. The whole thing. Okay, scrape it out. Get everything out of there. Okay. So it starts out exactly the same. Make sure all the fudge is mixed in. Well. Okay. Got some stuck on the bottom. Get it up. Okay, and this time it's almost all the way mixed in. This one I'm going to call my Rocky Road fudge. So what I'm going to add is mini marshmallows and walnuts. So if you like those, started to melt a little bit. Okay. Mix, fold those in. And the marshmallow will melt just a little bit because, of course, everything else is a little hot. Okay. And then you can even top it. I'll show you. I'll get some more marshmallows. Okay. So same thing again. Get your square pan out. Grab this one. Everything goes right in. Okay. So a lot of times when people think of fudge, you guys think of ice cream topping, like a liquid fudge. And this is actually a kind of like a candy fudge or an icebox type cookie. All right, so spread it around just like we did before. Just to move on me. And every corner. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the plastic wrap on top for just a second. So I'm going to put the plastic wrap on it just to push it down really quick to make sure it's nice and even. All right, then I'm going to go grab, it just pulls right off. I'm going to go grab Add some more of my marshmallows. And I'm just going to sprinkle some on the top. Okay. And then pat them in. Because it just looks pretty when you can tell from the top what it is. So, and then, not a lot, but maybe just a few more walnuts. So I know that one has walnuts in it. And then, again with the plastic wrap, right on the surface. And you kind of want to make sure they're pushed into that chocolate just a little bit so their toppings don't fall off. All right, and that's going to be our Rocky Road fudge. All right, our third one, I've decided to even do something a little bit different, and I'm gonna do a white chocolate fudge. And you could even layer it, like if you wanted to do a dark chocolate and then put the white fudge on top of it, and then even put like broken candy cane pieces, that would be a lot like a bark, but it's fudge, it's creamy, it's smooth, so it's not gonna be something that is, that's going to be crispy. So on this one, I have decided I'm going to do kind of a fruit and nut spin on it. And the white chocolate is melted a lot easier. Get that hot pot out of my face. All right, so again, as long as it melts down, I see some lumps of white chocolate. Good. Same thing, whole can, sweetened condensed milk. Okay. And you really do, again, need to use that rubber scraper. You want to get everything out of that can. That's what's going to make that fudge taste great. Now this one's going to be a little harder because they're almost the same color. So you do really need to make sure that you mix really well. You'll almost kind of feel that it's mixed in. You can kind of see the little bit of the difference between them. You'll start to feel it kind of thicken up. So keep going. And on this one, I decided to do kind of like a nut and fruit chew. So I have about a half a cup of roasted, and I did cashews. Again, you guys can do pecans, pistachios, walnuts. I mean, you can do chocolate fudge and top it with M&Ms if you want to make them look really cute. So this one, I'm doing a little bit bigger whole pieces of cashews, and then I'm doing dried cranberries and golden raisins. And I'm just kind of breaking the cranberries up a little bit. They're kind of sticking together. So I just want to make sure. And after you mix it, if you feel like, hey, there's not enough, go ahead and add some more. But I like this having kind of that little nut and chew, salty, sweet, tart. I think I'm even going to add some more to it. I like it really full of flavor. All right, so I added just about maybe another 1/4 cup of each. And this is getting really thick to stir. Okay. But I think I'm done. Let's get the pan. And again, you could do a loaf pan, and then your pieces will just be a little bit taller. Oh, this one smells really good. We'll learn all about chocolate next semester, but you'll find out vanilla or white chocolate really isn't legally chocolate, but it is a part of the cocoa bean. Okay, this one spreads maybe a little bit easier. And again, it was about a bag and a 1/3. So I had to buy 2 bags of chocolate because the white chocolate was only 12 ounces. That one leveled out pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead. Again, just top it with just a few, because I can kind of see it, but they just look pretty on the top. Okay, maybe a few red ones. Cranberries to give it a little color. And then just maybe a few more of my cashew pieces. Okay. Grab your plastic wrap. Onto the surface, push them in, right on the surface. All right, and then these are all gonna go into the refrigerator, and I'll show you how to cut them up once they're chilled.